Go.
Happy Friday. So I figured out a way to train our back without a pull-up bar. And with a lot of these home workouts without a pull-up bar, typically we're doing a lot of pushing movements. So if your neck's starting to get tight, it's because we're doing a lot of chest work, pushing work, and then we're only going to get tighter here. So think of today as like a back workout. So it's a back attack, and I'll go through each one of these workouts. Before we get there, we warm up with a 400-meter Teres carries, and then we're going to finish with the overhead squat. Okay, so I'm going to go over the warm-up and the finisher now, and then I'll get into the 5 back movements, which will take a little longer to explain. So think of it as a carry. We're trying to warm up the back as well and turn off the neck. If you have dumbbells, great. If not, you can use kettlebells or hold on to something heavy. Holding on to a slam ball works as well. The goal is to make sure you guys are pulling the shoulders back, head up, and then pushing the shoulders down. So you want to stay here for a little bit, making sure that you got the shoulders back just to neutral, to even. Not all the way back here like this. And then down. You want to feel your pec on, which is good, but you also want to pull the shoulders back with the pec. So you're going to take this for a 400-meter walk. If you guys have a slam ball, it's the same thing. You're hugging, keeping the pec on, but you're trying not to be so turtly and pull the shoulders back a little as well. Take as many breaks as you need to. Make sure that you're doing it right and the tension doesn't go to your neck. So that's the warm-up, 400 meters. For the finisher, everyone's got a broomstick. So what you're going to do is spend a minute down at the bottom of your overhead squat. Wherever that may be, everyone's mobility is different. To set a timer, you're going to stay in your tension zone. So what we've been working on is not to shrug up here. You're trying to pull the shoulder blades back together and then punch up, head through. So it'll look like this. Head goes through, shoulder blades go back, punch up, and then you're going to sit as low as you can without losing the tension in your neck. So if you're tight here, which is good, and then when you start squatting, if this is it, and you start to shrug up or you lose tension, then you've gone too low. So figure out where your depth is. So the finisher is 5 rounds, tighten everything up, and you hang out in tension. If 1 minute's too long, modify 30 seconds, 45 seconds, but it should be a challenge. If you have the mobility, which some of you do not bottom out. So for me, it's easy to just stay down here like that. I'm not in tension. I need to be in tension with the upper body and in my lower body, so now I'm struggling. That's one way to keep your strength, because we're so afraid to lose it, is time under tension. So we don't want to just stay in a relaxed position. We want to get a lot of that burn happening. So 5 by 1 minute, that's your finisher, or you guys could cut the time down just a hair. So now, for the 5 back movements, I'm going to go through them one at a time so you could pause and then go through it with me, because the workout's for quality. You're doing 5 by 10 reps on each one, so 10, 10, 10. That's one round, 10, 10, 10. To make it harder, I want you guys to hold the squeeze longer, okay? So 10's already challenging, that's fine. But if you find that 10's not enough, I don't want you to do more reps. I want you to squeeze and flex as hard as possible. So the first one is a Superman hip extension.
Shouldn't you do separate videos?
No, we're going through them all at once.
Okay.
So from here, you can follow along. The Superman hip extension, you're going to lay down. It's that traditional, what you see people do this. But for us, we want to get the back engaged and not the lower back. So the first thing we're going to do is fire your glutes when you're laying down. Squeeze your glutes as hard as you can. And then that'll open up the hips while you're laying down. So once your glutes are on, then you're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together. So that's the first one. So if you look, come on down here. Traditional Superman looks like that. We're not doing it this way. Have our hands to our side. You're going to squeeze the glutes first, thrust the hips forward. So now my glutes are on. And then I'm trying to pull the shoulder blades together as hard as I can. You'll see my shoulders actually roll all the way back and through. So I'm getting a good squeeze every rep. You have to flex the glutes first, and then you pull the shoulders back. That way it'll keep it out of your lower back. So that's the first one. The second movement, you're gonna do a plank drag. So come on over here. Find a surface that's a little smoother. I'm using just the tiles on the kitchen floor. Have a towel down there. I tried it with the socks, it works as well, so you can use the concrete outside probably. But have a little towel for it to slide. When you guys do your plank, I picked this drill because it mimics like a kipping motion, a toes to bar, a kipping pull-up. You're gonna hold the plank, but you must round the shoulder as much as you can. Imagine you're hanging on a pull-up bar to get into that good plank. So from here, what you're trying to do is you're modifying it, making it harder by how far you go back and forward. When you're coming forward, you're going to try to pull and push like you're pushing away on the pull-up bar through the palms, and then you're work your back muscles and chest. If you can't do this, it's too difficult, then you can just do an inchworm. So the modification for this, if you look, really rounding the shoulders, flexing, because even this position here, I'm working my back muscles. Then to make it harder, you just walk forward more. Walk forward more. So you can hold for 10 count, flexing everything, that's the modification. The actual workout is, you're gonna put your feet on a towel or just use socks. It's called a plank drag. You're getting a good plank. I push myself back, and then I push through the palms and pull forward. Push back, pull through the palms. Try to not bend your elbow as much as you can. That's as far as I can go, and that was 3 and I'm already shaking. So it's gonna feel like a strict kip or toes to bar. So that's the plank drag. Third movement, Superman flies. The Superman movement and the floor press or the floor pull-up has the same setup. You always want to tighten up your glutes first. From here, flex the glutes, have my arms to the side, and then I'm going to squeeze the shoulder blades together. Squeeze as hard as you can, get your arms as high as possible. So I'm pulling, come back down, flex the glutes, squeeze. Squeeze. When you guys are squeezing your shoulder blades, try not to shrug up. So that's the Superman flies. Reverse push-ups. This is kind of new. Probably come on this side, if you can see. You're gonna lay down and push your elbows. It looks exactly like the name, reverse push-ups. You push your elbows into the ground as hard as you can. And then you're going to try to pick up your chest as far as possible by pushing in through your elbows. So you push through the ground as hard as you can. I'm not really moving. And then I pick my chest up. Come back down. As long as you feel tension through the back of your arms, you're doing it right. Because it's a very weird movement. I had to test it a few times. But as long as you're pushing through here and your chest is coming off the ground with your back, you're doing good. So push down. And then pull my chest up. Come back down. Push through the elbows and triceps. Chest up as high as I can. Trying to squeeze the shoulder blades together. So that's a reverse push-up. The last one is a floor pull-up. Same setup as a Superman. So from here, flex your glutes. And then bring your arms out. And you're going to squeeze like you're doing a strict pull-up. Just like our anchor press, I want you to make sure the shoulders aren't rolled forward. You're trying to keep your shoulders back and down and squeeze. If you go too far with the elbows and you start to feel it in the front of your shoulder or the neck, stop around that 90 like our anchor press. So from here, squeeze. If you could get more flex through any of these muscles here, then do so by pulling back harder. It just depends on where your mobility's at. So the idea behind these drills is to get, again, more time under tension. So don't just rep it out. If you want to make it more challenging, hold that flex longer. Hold that floor pull-up longer. So those are your 5 movements. I'm out of breath. Superman hip ups, or hip extensions, plank drag, Superman flies, reverse push-ups, floor pull-ups. So it's one way to train your back while we're at home. If you guys have any questions or need more modifications, message me. Let me know how this goes.